You're staring at your bank app at midnight. The balance is drastically lower than it should be. You scroll through the transactions and your stomach drops. $200 vanished into a sketchy online form, or maybe $3,000 disappeared from a down payment on a car that doesn't exist. The panic is real. The biggest myth you probably believe right now is that the bank will instantly refund your money because you got ripped off. People assume the bank is a giant vault that simply hands your cash back the second a bad guy tricks you. That's completely backwards. When you get scammed, the bank doesn't treat you like a victim of a crime who needs an immediate rescue. They treat you like a business partner who authorized a bad deal. If you punched in your PIN and hit send, the bank's first assumption is that you actually meant to let go of that money. We'll walk through how the system actually handles this nightmare. You can absolutely get your money back in some situations, but you must understand how the machine works to properly operate it. Let's clear up the very first myth. A lot of folks think calling the police is the fastest way to force a refund. If a scammer takes your money, local cops rarely have the jurisdiction to do much about it. Jurisdiction is just the official power a specific government authority has over a geographic area. If a guy in another state manipulated you into sending him money, your local police department can't just drive to his house and demand the cash. They might take a police report for your records, which is an official written document detailing exactly what happened, but they simply don't have the funding or the power to chase down digital thieves. Relying on the police to get your money back is a guaranteed dead end. The real financial battleground is always with your bank, the credit card company, or the payment app you use to push the funds out. They hold the purse strings. They're the only ones who can actually reverse the movement of the digital dollars. Now we need to tackle the second massive myth. People assume the bank acts like an insurance company that automatically covers any tragic loss. They think a stolen credit card or a drained debit account means the bank just eats the cost out of their own massive corporate pockets. The actual truth is heavily tied to a specific legal concept called a chargeback. A chargeback is a formal, forced reversal of funds by the bank, and they only do it when a very specific set of rules is met. The bank isn't going to generously give you a refund out of kindness. They follow strict federal guidelines, and those guidelines change depending on exactly which piece of plastic or digital app you used. Let's look at a concrete scenario. Imagine you bought a vintage motorcycle on a classifieds website. You used your debit card to send $500 through a secure payment app to a seller who immediately deleted his entire account. You feel incredibly foolish. You call your bank in a total panic. Many folks believe the bank must immediately freeze their account and give them the $500 back. That's simply not how it usually works with a debit transaction. When you use a debit card, the money leaves your actual checking account almost instantly. A debit card pulls money directly from your existing cash balance. Getting it back is incredibly difficult because the bank has to aggressively fight the receiving bank to claw the money back out of the scammer's account. You authorized the digital transaction. It's solely up to you to prove that the authorization was a mistake. Federal law does protect you from totally unauthorized transactions, but you have to report it incredibly fast. If you wait just 2 business days, your liability jumps to $500. If you wait more than 60 days, you might lose everything. Credit cards operate on a completely different engine. The biggest myth with credit cards is that they're exactly the same as debit cards, just borrowing money instead of spending cash. The legal reality actually favors the consumer heavily here. When you use a credit card, you're spending the bank's money, not your own. Because it's technically the bank's money on the line, the bank cares a whole lot more about making sure the merchant is legitimate. A federal law called the Fair Credit Billing Act gives you special rights to dispute charges. To dispute a charge simply means you officially tell the bank you're refusing to pay for a specific transaction because you were scammed or the service was never delivered. If you bought that fake motorcycle with a credit card, your maximum liability for someone stealing your card information is $50 by federal law. Many major banks waive even that small $50 fee as a simple courtesy. He completely vanishes without ever dropping off a single shingle. You want to know exactly how to get that cash back. You can't just call the bank and cry about a bad business deal. You have to initiate a formal dispute process. You call the bank and state that the merchant failed to deliver the explicitly purchased goods or services. The bank will lock your account, issue you a brand new card, and physically mail you an affidavit. An affidavit is a sworn written statement where you officially promise the facts you're reporting are totally true, and you sign it under the strict penalty of criminal perjury. You detail the date, the promised service, and the complete failure to deliver. The bank credits your account while they investigate the claim. During a dispute, the bank uses the chargeback system. They contact the merchant's bank and forcibly pull the money back into your account. The merchant then has a strict window of time to argue and prove they actually did the work. If the roofer ignores the bank, you win by default and you keep the money. But remember, you've to strictly prove your side of the case. You show the bank the paper trail. You show them the text messages where you agreed on the price. You show them the written contract and the bank statement showing the exact transfer. You show the dates the work was supposed to be finished. The bank acts as the judge. They look at the cold evidence. They usually side with the consumer if the merchant has absolutely no proof they ever did the work. It's entirely an evidence game. Hearsay doesn't win disputes. Documented facts win disputes. But let's shatter one final, deeply painful myth. People think if a bank approves the dispute and gives you the money back, the legal nightmare is completely over forever. That isn't always true. If the merchant truly believes you're lying, they can sue you in local civil court. Civil court is a local legal arena where private citizens sue each other for broken contracts or stolen money. Let's say you successfully dispute a $2,000 charge with a local mechanic. The bank gives you your $2,000 back. The mechanic could respond by taking you to small claims court. Small claims is a specific type of civil court designed for regular people to handle smaller money disputes without needing to hire expensive attorneys. The mechanic will show his work orders to the judge. You'll show your evidence that the work was never completed. The judge makes a final ruling. If the judge agrees with the mechanic, you legally owe that money right back. A bank dispute only handles the money between banks. It doesn't legally erase a valid private contract between two parties. It simply shifts the battleground from the bank's customer service desk to the local courthouse. Laws regarding these specific court levels vary by state, but the general rules of contract always apply. We've dismantled the myths. You know the bank doesn't magically rescue you just because you made a mistake. You know local police can't easily chase down digital thieves across invisible borders. You know credit cards offer significantly better fraud protection than debit cards or digital wire apps. You know there's no magical 3-day window for buying everyday items online. And you know that avoiding fake recovery hackers is critical to keeping your remaining cash safe. Getting scammed is a deeply terrible feeling. But understanding the actual mechanics of the banking system gives you the power to fight back intelligently. Since we covered how credit cards and debit cards handle fraud differently, I want to know about your experience. Had you ever successfully disputed a charge and won, or did the bank side with the merchant against you? Tell me your exact story down in the comments. If this breakdown armed you with the real truth about fighting back when someone steals your money, pass this video along to a buddy who just got hit by a scammer and is totally panicking. Make sure you subscribe to Scribble Law so you always know the actual rules of the game before a financial crisis tries to wipe out your bank account.